I want to talk about the Pacers and Bucks series for a second. I'm not going to go over all these series because I did miss Tuesday. I want to apologize for that. Something was planned that wasn't able to happen, and it kind of threw me off a lot. But we're here, and I do apologize. I'm back. So I am sorry for missing Wednesday's episode. But if I did do Wednesday's episode, I would have talked about Damian Lillard, who tears his Achilles, fought back from blood clots. And if you know anything about the human body, if you know anything about sports, it's extremely tough to not just ramp your body up for NBA play, for professional play, but there's a different level of ramping. There's a different level of physicality that you get in the playoffs compared to the regular season. Like I said, when we talked about the first topic, the playoffs is not the regular season. There's a different level of focus, different level of physicality that comes with that. And I do commend Dame for rushing back. I understand that when you see your team and you're a very important piece to a team, in fact, you know, and everyone knows that if the Bucks don't have Damian Lillard, they don't have a shot, not just against the Pacers, but really anybody in the playoffs. Damian Lillard knew that and is like, I want to get back as soon as I can. And then he tears his ACL. Or no, tears his Achilles, I'm sorry. And as much as I don't want to talk about this, as much as it sucks to talk about, I think that Achilles injury officially closed the championship door for the Milwaukee Bucks. You go out, game 5. You're up, I think, 5 with like 40 seconds left. I think you're up 7 with like 40 seconds left. You find a way to not just allow the Pacers to force it to overtime, but you find a way to lose that game. Series is over. Giannis has a triple-double. Giannis is by far the best player in the series, but it obviously doesn't matter. So now it's hard. Obviously, you just lost. So it's hard for you to really sit in the now. You have to look forward. And when you look forward, you see an old team, one of the oldest teams in basketball. B, you're not even going to have your quote-unquote Robin to Batman because Dame's not going to be there majority, if not all of next year. Because not only did he tear his Achilles, which is essentially a year recovery, but he's also, 34, 35? You're not a spring chicken anymore. And on top of that, this is yet another year with rumblings of, Giannis isn't happy. And I understand completely. You see, when we hear about athletes not being happy, there's always what are you doing? Or there's always how can you turn on the organization? I understand completely Giannis not being happy. This is yet another year. I think the stat is, since Giannis and the Bucks won a championship, was it 2021? Do you know that they're, at this moment, I believe it's 1-8 or 1-9 in the playoffs? And that one was this series. If you're Giannis, you're widely considered one of the best players in basketball. And rightfully so. Giannis is Giannis. As much as, people were talking about this series, it was clear who the best player was. Tyrese Halliburton was great, yeah. Pascal Siakam was great, yeah. Gary Trent had a couple moments, yeah. But it was clear who the best player was in this series. And the sad part about it was also clear that it didn't even matter. Giannis was playing the best he's played in a while. Statistically, he was probably having his best playoff series. Think about that. A person that won a championship, statistically, he was playing his best basketball of his career. And you still lose 4-1. Now, this isn't like no chump we talking about. We're talking about arguably the best player in basketball. So that clearly shows you that he's holding up his end of the bargain. It's just the team aspect. The team building is not. So you have that. Plus you have Dame. Plus you have an old roster. This is yet another year where either Giannis or Dame or somebody important is injured in the playoffs. So, obviously, I don't know what Giannis is going to do. But it seems year after year after year, Giannis expresses his frustration, not just with the organization, but his frustration that he's still one of the best players in the world. And it seems like he's getting further and further and further away from a championship, even with Dame. Because remember, last year when they had Dame, he got hurt. Both of them got hurt. Now, think about it. So, it's a very real possibility that Dame can be, Giannis can be like, you know what? I don't feel I can win a championship here. And you don't want to be that organization and be like, well, no, we're not trading you. What? Because imagine that. Imagine everything that Giannis has done for the organization. The organization be like, no, we're going to keep you here. I know you don't want to be here, but how do you think you're going to get anybody to come to that team? For a split second. In fact, this is a really good learning lesson for a lot of people. Now, obviously, we'll see what happens with the Nuggets, but both the Nuggets and the Bucks, especially the Bucks, is a perfect example of you need to capitalize on those championship windows when you have them. It also shows that just because you have someone as great as Giannis, as great as Nikola Jokic, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are a championship caliber team. They kind of, having a player that good allows you to see the window, allows you to look at it. Because it's like, all right, we have a great building block. We have a great player. Which is another reason why it was just baffling, obviously, with Dallas giving up Luka. Yeah, Luka isn't great defensively, but you have the ground, like you have that star. But yes, another, and I said this going into the playoffs. I said, I don't think that there's a team with more pressure on their shoulders than the Bucks, because I think it kind of like to a certain extent, kind of like the Jets. At some point, the investment needs to pay off, or things are going to change. You got Dame. You brought Damian Lillard in, and this is the second year that with Damian Lillard, you didn't even make it out of the. Am I mistaken? Did they make it out the first round? This is the second year you didn't even make it out the first round, I don't believe. I'm 100% sure this is the second year you lost to the Pacers. Actually, no, because the Pacers, this is the second year you didn't make it out the first round. And how do you justify that? How, if your star has concerns and wants to know the direction of the organization, what do you tell them? We're this close? Because next year will be another, if he stays with the Bucks, will be another year wasted because you don't have Dame. So who else is going to pick up the mantle? Kevin Porter Jr.? I wish and I hope for a speedy recovery when we talk about Dame. I don't think it's gonna be a quick one. I'll say that. Let me not say speedy recovery. I hope for a healthy recovery. Because as we've seen, the body acts a different way. I want to shout out Jordan Travis, the former now quarterback from Florida State. He was drafted by the Jets. He was essentially forced to medically retire from football because he had a gruesome leg injury and his body just didn't take to the recovery, at least enough where he can perform on the court. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case for Dame. What I'm saying is we never know. You never know. And Dame is older. Mind you, Dame just came off of missing games because of a blood clot. I hope he gets back and he's the Dame of old. But that's a lot easier said than done. We've seen a lot more. I'm not going to say that. I do wish and I hope for a healthy recovery. And I hope that this isn't the last that we've seen of Dame being Dame. But I do think that this is the last that we've seen of the Bucks, at least this current form of the Bucks, being contenders for anything. Because like I said, when you bring in Dame, on top of that, you see your ex essentially in Drew Holiday flourishing. I would be shocked if there's not changes made, especially with a player as great as Giannis. Because one thing that has been abundantly clear with Giannis is he ain't got time to be wasting time. No one does. And as much as fun as it is, as you know, you don't, So we'll see. But congratulations to the Pacers for making to the second round. Now we'll face the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this is yet another year where a team that just 4 years ago was in and won the NBA Finals. This is yet another year where they don't even make it out the first round. In fact, I think this is the third year in a row, because you don't make it out the next year against the Heat. Now, Giannis missed, I think, 2 of those games, but Jimmy Butler had that run. And then the next year you lose to the Pacers, and this year you lose to the Pacers. Again, you're 8, 1-9 since the NBA Finals. We'll see, man. Again, I hope for a healthy recovery for Dame. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.